Everyone thought the story was already over, that the family had quietly moved on and the damage was safely tucked away behind closed doors. But what if the real collapse never happened on camera? And what if the most dangerous moment wasn't the breakup, but the night someone finally said no? This isn't just a memoir, it's a reckoning. And one chapter has powerful people scrambling to make it disappear. Stay with me, because once you hear why they're so afraid of this story, you'll understand why it was never meant to stay buried. The problem was never that he cared too much about public opinion. It was that appearances mattered more than reality, more than the damage unfolding quietly inside the home, more than the woman who spent decades bending herself into silence just to keep the picture intact. For years, Christine believed that if she stayed calm, if she stayed agreeable, if she absorbed discomfort without complaint, the tension would eventually fade. What she did not realize until much later was that the tension was not temporary. The storm was not passing through the family. The storm was the family. And at the center of it stood a man who confused control with leadership. According to multiple sources, that illusion finally fractured during a private publisher call earlier this week, a call that was never meant to include him. A routine discussion intended to finalize details for Christine's upcoming memoir reportedly shifted the moment he appeared uninvited, logging into the virtual room without warning. Legal counsel beside him, documents prepared, presence heavy and unmistakable. Sources say he did not arrive to discuss tone or wording. He arrived to stop something entirely. What he allegedly demanded was the removal of a full chapter, not because it was inaccurate, but because of what it revealed. According to those familiar with the manuscript, the chapter centers on a night that reframes the entire collapse of the family, not as a slow fade, but as a confrontation that stripped away every illusion. It describes raised voices, repeated accusations, demands framed as loyalty, and then a financial request that left Christine frozen in place, a number that has since echoed across private conversations and online forums: $100,000. Sources say the number refers to a request allegedly made after Christine left, money claimed to offset family expenses. Christine, now rebuilding her life with her daughter and her husband, reportedly refused, stating plainly that poor planning was not her responsibility. Accounts suggest that refusal marked a turning point, the moment when tension escalated, and that moment and everything following it now forms the most volatile chapter of the memoir. Here lies the paradox. Had nothing been said, had the book been allowed to proceed quietly, the chapter might have surfaced slowly. Instead, every effort to bury it amplified curiosity. Public framing centered on concern only intensified scrutiny. Fans noticed timing. The financial dispute aligned closely with custody filings. Court watchers noted requests for retroactive support. Suddenly, this was no longer just a story about a family. It carried legal gravity. Christine's team anticipated resistance months earlier. The chapter underwent extensive legal review before reaching editors. Dates, messages, financial records. This was not exaggeration, it was documentation. Publishing experts note that without proof of defamation, options to suppress are limited, though pressure continues. Now, with custody matters involved, the battlefield shifts again, because if finances affected a child's well-being, the narrative extends far beyond publishing. And then there is Truly. For years, Christine shielded her daughter from conflict as best she could, but public filings and rising attention changed that. When Christine shared a simple family photo, fans commented not on aesthetics, but on energy, peace, stability, confidence. Observers noted the contrast, a teenager thriving while disputes played out elsewhere. That image, sources say, carried more weight than any statement because perception matters in legal spaces. Attempts to regain narrative control followed, sealed records, strategic maneuvers, but Christine's response was brief: "My truth stays." Those 3 words, insiders say, marked the end of negotiation. No public announcements, no spectacle, just resolve. The same day, Christine shared a lighthearted kitchen video, laughing, dancing, pancakes sizzling. To casual viewers, it was ordinary. To those following the timeline, it was something else entirely, a declaration of peace. While letters were drafted and strategies debated, Christine was already living on the other side of the chaos. Speculation grew about next moves, pressure campaigns, filming ultimatums, but insiders doubted their effectiveness because the power dynamic had shifted. Christine no longer required intermediaries. She had a direct connection to the audience, every claim in the manuscript supported by records. As publication approached, tension intensified. Rumors suggested a second excerpt might surface, not about money, but about emotional clarity, the quiet moment after the noise stopped, the realization that she was done fixing what she did not break. Those who glimpsed it described the shift, reflective, grounded, not accusatory, and that made it powerful. Pre-order interest climbed without promotion, carried entirely by word of mouth. Christine remained quiet, sharing moments instead of arguments, living instead of reacting. Meanwhile, options narrowed. Conversations around the family shifted from gossip to accountability, and the chapter so many wanted erased became impossible to ignore, not because it was loud, but because it was steady, detailed, and unmovable. To understand why this moment carries so much weight, you have to rewind far before publishers' calls, legal filings, and social media speculation. You have to go back to the first time the mask slipped in public view. It was season 17, and the family was already unraveling. Christine had announced she was leaving, and for the first time, the audience did not see a wounded partner trying to hold things together. They saw a man losing control on camera. When the word obedience was spoken, it did not sound accidental. It sounded intentional. I am the head of this family, and I need it to be that way again. That single statement reframed years of confusion. Suddenly, past arguments snapped into focus. Control had always been central. Compliance had always been the expectation. Love, if it existed, had conditions attached. With that context, later claims about money felt less surprising. According to sources close to Christine, the argument described in the memoir was not about everyday expenses or shared household costs. It centered on a large contribution allegedly requested to stabilize finances, described as family-related. Christine fought something else: overspending, personal debt obligations tied to a household she no longer belonged to. When she questioned it and declined to contribute without transparency, the reaction shifted. Sources say the request was reframed as loyalty and the refusal as betrayal. That framing marked a turning point because for the first time, Christine named it differently. She called it freedom. That word anchors the memoir. The money was never just cash. It symbolized years of imbalance, pressure and obligation, unity presented as duty, sacrifice demanded without return. According to the manuscript, Cody did not simply ask, he pressured. He invoked family legacy, responsibility, and even the children. At one point, insiders say he referenced Christine's relocation and alignment with someone who, in his view, wanted family resources. That line reportedly caused editors to pause because it revealed motive rather than emotion. The chapter describes the night not as chaotic shouting, but as something more unsettling, a slow escalation, voices rising, accusations looping, expectations tightening, Christine feeling the familiar pull to smooth things over, to retreat, to keep peace, and then an internal shift. She realized she had been paying to remain silent, funding a system that had already moved past her. Without that chapter, the story would remain incomplete because emotional neglect alone does not explain the full picture. Financial entanglement changes everything. Sources say Christine kept meticulous records in the final months before she left. Screenshots, transaction histories, handwritten notes tracking what was requested, what was paid, and who benefited. Buried among them was a flagged transfer labeled as an emergency family expense, one she says she never approved and was never discussed. The amount matched the numbers circulating everywhere. This is where the situation reportedly shifted from uncomfortable to explosive. The funds allegedly moved through an account tied to long-standing family structures where transparency was limited. When Christine uncovered the transfer, the realization was destabilizing. According to early drafts of the memoir, the money was not used for communal needs, but for obligations connected to a specific household. When she confronted Cody, she claims he did not deny it. Instead, he asked for trust, told her to let him handle it, and encouraged silence. That moment, sources say, ended everything. Shortly afterward, Christine filed to formally establish parental responsibilities, seeking clarity and accountability. Observers close to the situation viewed that step as symbolic as much as procedural. It marked the point where she stopped absorbing consequences that were not hers. That same period, Christine began writing, not for publication, but for herself, documenting events in a simple timeline, conversations, dates, financial movements. That document became the backbone of the memoir. Gallery books reportedly verified each claim against available records, emails, text messages, and financial documentation before locking the manuscript. Insiders believe that vetting is why the publisher has not retreated despite pressure. Publishing experts note that attempts to suppress content often intensify interest, and that pattern appears to be repeating. As scrutiny increased, Christine did not respond with interviews or statements. She posted ordinary moments instead: a trip, laughter, quiet joy. The contrast spoke louder than argument. Meanwhile, dynamics within the family shifted. Other members responded subtly: likes, hints, silence. Fans began rewatching old episodes through a new lens. Conversations moved from speculation to accountability. Numbers replaced impressions. Evidence reframed memory. Networks felt the shift too, because narratives built on ambiguity struggle against documentation. Whispers began about future projects centered not on polygamy, but on life after it. Nothing confirmed, but the idea alone reshaped expectations. Christine did not comment. She continued living. The memoir moved closer to release, and the disputed chapter remained intact. That is where the suspense truly lives, not in shouting or scandal, but in inevitability. Once a truth is documented, verified, and prepared for release, it cannot be unseen. Attempts to delay may change timing, but not outcome. The irony is impossible to ignore. Efforts to control the narrative only amplified it. The more resistance applied, the sharper the focus became. The chapter some wanted erased now defines the story, and the final realization settles quietly. The storm was never Christine leaving. The storm was the silence. And once that silence ended, nothing could return to how it was. In the end, this was never about money or control or even a book. It was about what happens when silence finally breaks and the truth is written down where it can no longer be erased. No matter how hard anyone tries to rewrite the past, some stories refuse to stay hidden. And once the truth is told, it doesn't need permission to exist. It simply does. And that is the chapter that changes everything.